Hey y'all, Curve21, back at you again with another Pokemon Go PvP video. In this video, we're taking a look at day number 3 of the Little Cup. We've been running some spicy options with Houndour in the back, but it wasn't working out, so we went back to our safe swap of Drifloon. Now, what I like about Drifloon is it can beat all of the meta Pokemon, but it can also lose, given an energy lead or disadvantage. So we get a good lead with our Alolan Diglett into Bronzor and pick up a win on their Dino. We did not want to switch out because we were down energy. All of our Pokemon in the back would have lost to that Dino, and that's why our A-Dig with that Steel subtyping is very strong with that high defense stat to beat up on Dino. They bring back in their Bronzor and we get a lot of chip damage with our Mud Slaps. Now, another thing about this team is you can cheaply build this team. You should probably have a couple of Drifloon saved back from the Halloween event and that special Drifloon day if you competed in that. So, outside of that, you just need a Bronzor under 500 CP. You should have a couple of those. There was a spotlight event for Bronzor, and also you could have any type of Mud Slap Pokemon: Wooper, Barbroach, Cubone, Shellos, Golett, Gibble, any type of mud Pokemon. We like the Steel subtyping of Diglett. And speaking of Steel typing, we're about to launch this Heavy Slam into the Shadow Stunky and pick up a huge win in game number 1. We were down to the wire there. They had a counter of their Dark type lined up against Bronzor, but the dominant Pokemon of the Little Cup reigns supreme. So, going into this second game, we're feeling pretty good, and we're looking for a good lead, but it's a grass against our ground. We're going to swap over into our Bronzor. We normally would switch into Drifloon, but we have changed it out for a very rare Pokemon under 500, the Vullaby, who also would have a hard time against that Charm using Cottony, which we assumed had Charm, so we brought in the Bronzor. Now, if it had Razor Leaf, Bronzor is still a good counter, but Vullaby would have also been a great choice there. It does have the Charm. We did get to find that out early on in the match, so we need to defeat it with our Bronzor. We're going to switch over to Vullaby because of this reason, to save our Bronzor for that Cottony later in the game. It is extremely tanky. You might not have a Vullaby. It's extremely rare because you would have to have found it and hatched it from an egg from a low-level account. But we had a friend trade one of these, and we're going to threaten that shield because they might not know what the charge move is. They might have thought it was an Aerial Ace. So now we get to bring back our Bronzor into the Cottony, and Vullaby has gotten us a shield. But we're going to need to land a charge move, preferably the Heavy Slam, but we could have also taken the Psyshock and farmed a little bit of energy. And it's that Shadow Stunky at the end of the game yet again. Can we land the Heavy Slam? No, they're going to shield it up. We're going to bring back in Alolan Diglett, and it's going to take a ton of damage from these Mud Slaps, picking up another huge win in this second game, even though we lost the lead because Alolan Diglett slaps ground weak poison types. So, going into game number 3, we're feeling very good. We just won 2 close games against Shadow Stunky at the end, and we get a great lead against the Vulpix. They bring in Seal, and we bring in our Drifloon this time. We're just testing out which one's better, Vullaby or Drifloon. Probably made a mistake right there. We should have brought in our Bronzor, but again, we are learning and switching up our team. You might not make the best plays every single time. We were looking for a shield there, but they correctly don't shield it, even though we had the energy for the Shadow Ball. We are going to get the shield off of this Shadow Ball because we have been debuffed by that Icy Wind, and we get taken out because of our flying typing. So we bring in the Bronzor, recognizing this is the best Pokemon against their Seal. We should have swapped into it, and we are going to make that correction in games to come. They're going to bring in their Nincada, which would have been hard-walled by our Drifloon. No, wait. The Nincada has Night Slash, so that is actually an issue for Drifloon. It's the Shelmet that can be hard countered by Drifloon. These 2 bug types are very interesting in this cup, but we are going to need to immediately bring into our Diglett to beat up on this Vulpix. And can we get off that last Mud Slap? No. And that, I feel like, is cheating. Like, the game definitely cheated us out of that game. we should have had at least one of those 2 mud slaps go. We had one go before the charge move and another one after, and neither of them connected with the Vulpix while they got in 2 embers. That really stung. So we're going off into game number 4 into a Dino. Good lead, and we do self-correct. Even though they have Lick, Bronzor is the correct bring-in to a Seal. These Icy Winds are not going to deal that much damage. It's the Aqua Tails you have to look out for and shield. Yes, they're less energy, but they get that stab bonus from Seal being a water type and not ice type, dealing a little bit more damage. We are not afraid of their charge moves, so we tank that Aqua Tail and launch this big Side Shot, getting the second shield picked up, and we incorrectly shield here. We should have just gone down and had a 2 shield advantage, but instead they make a miraculous play of swapping into their Dino on our Side Shot. We bring in our Alolan Diglett, shield up this Body Slam, and then look to farm down with the slaps. And now how are they going to respond? Are they going to bring in that Seal and Aqua Tail us? We go for the Mud Bomb to get the KO on the Seal. What is their final Pokemon? Is it a losing Pokemon to the Drifloon, or can this Mud Bomb clean it up? It's the Bronzor. We now get to bring in our Drifloon and look to get that Shadow Ball. Can we pick up the win? They got a charge move. The Heavy Slam doesn't KO. It's just a Side Shock. We should be able to win here. Yes! Alright. Perfect. So, picking up the win from that good lead. Everything got matched up. Hey, 1,900 wins right there. Great. So we're going into this last game here. We're really loving the Drifloon. We did play out one game with Vullaby, and it was a little bit scary having a Cottony in the lead or switching in. We have to line up the Cottony against the Bronzor, but Drifloon can deal with it with that Icy Wind if need be. So we get a good lead, and we're thinking Drifloon's probably the best Pokemon for these 2 Steel types to cover that huge ground typing weakness and a little bit of that fire weakness. We do land the Mud Bomb, so that's huge value for us. We are going to shield up just for safety and take the lead. They're going to bring in their Cottony, and we're looking for that Rock Tomb to get a lot of value, and we faint with the energy. We should have at least gone for the Mud Bomb, but we were going for huge value. They bring in their Dino, and we are in a tough spot. Down 1 shield to 2, with 2 Pokemon who need the shields off of Dino to win. We get 1 off of this Heavy Slam. We're going to take the charge move and switch over to Drifloon to look to Icy Wind it. They beat us to the charge move, and I'm thinking this is probably a Body Slam, but I have to shield it in case it's a crunch. We have all this energy. We can't let it go. And we were right. So now they're going to Dragon Breath us down, and the Body Slam does make a difference at this point because they are able to Dragon Breath us out before that Icy Wind, and we look to concede the game even though we could have knocked out that Dino with a Heavy Slam. The residual damage from Charm on their Cottony would have KO'd the Bronzor. So, good game to our opponent, very well played, catching a couple of charge moves on their Dino, and that last opponent lining up their Dino with 2 shields, even though they lost the lead. Really heads up play. Good luck in your Little Cup battle.